If you can't get your money down, you won't last long as a professional gambler. It's that simple. In this video, I'm breaking down the raw pros and cons of getting money down in 5 major markets: the US, the UK, Australia, Ireland and Canada. This isn't a one-size-fits-all game. Pro bettors operate across completely different scopes, but one thing is certain: if you want to survive, you have to adapt to each market to extract the maximum. Before we dive into country number 1, let's be real. If you are profitable, you are not welcome. Betting companies hate winners. Beating their lines or using advantage software will get you limited, restricted or banned fast. If you want to stay in this game, you need a proper plan. So let's map out the global landscape and get your mind in the game. So let's start off with the USA. Billy Walters, Bill Bentner, Bob Vulgaris, these are probably names that you've heard of. These guys built algorithms, ran betting syndicates and extracted hundreds of millions of dollars from the sportsbooks. And here's the thing, they are not alone. There are thousands of high-level pros you've never heard of quietly banking life-changing money in the US right now. The USA is the fastest growing, most massive sports betting giant on the planet Earth. So let's have a look at the current situation. First, the good news. The US market is relatively fresh, and because sportsbooks are fighting tooth and nail for market share, they are chasing casuals with ridiculous marketing. Many of the sportsbooks have incredibly soft lines. Market pricing on player props and secondary markets is notoriously weak if you compare it to Europe. If you have a solid model, the lines are there to be picked off. In the US, there is still massive sign-up promotions. We're talking $1,500 matches on BetMGM or $1,000 in match bets on Fanatics. And what about offshore and crypto sportsbooks? Offshore books like Bovada, BetOnline and Bookmaker actively target the US with instant crypto deposits and withdrawals and much higher limits than standard domestic apps. And then of course you've got the regulated prediction markets. Platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket let you trade outcomes like stocks with high liquidity and no bookmaker margins. So you might be asking, what's the catch? Why isn't every sports bettor moving to America? First is the tax hammer. Unlike Australia, the UK, Canada or Ireland, US gambling winnings are taxed as personal income. Federal plus state taxes will absolutely murder a professional's rolling edge. And then of course you've got the state by state nightmare. You aren't betting in America, you're betting in individual states. Some have great choice while others have tiny government run state monopolies. I should also point out in the US you've got vicious profiling. US books run some of the most aggressive risk algorithms on earth. Be there closing lines twice on a player prop and you won't just get limited. You'll be chopped to 50-cent maximum bets within days. And I should also mention that betting exchanges haven't made it to the US. And this brings us to the big question. How do serious pros actually get 6-figure volume down? In the US, crypto gets you around the banking block, but it won't stop a softbook limiting you to pennies. The real heavy hitters aren't using VPNs or amateur tricks. They use 2 main models. First is Asian and European brokers. High net worth clients use offshore brokers who act as a buffer, routing heavy orders directly into sharp winners welcomes pools like Pinnacle or Asian exchanges. P.S. This is usually structured through a company in an acceptable location rather than an individual. And number 2 is the beard networks, or what we know as the bet placers. For soft domestic books, syndicates use real people physically located in legal states, but be warned, this is a massive legal grey area. In fact, New Jersey recently passed strict laws explicitly criminalizing proxy betting, putting it into the same criminal category as casino cheating. The bottom line is this: the US is right with soft money, but if you don't have a structured, airtight plan to protect your liquidity, you will get shut down very quickly. So number 2 on my list is Australia, and I've got to start off by asking you a question. Did you know that Australia is the biggest gambling nation per capita on earth? But for a professional bettor, it operates under a double standard. Let me explain why. In one instance, you can get banned for winning $5 on a football match. On the other hand, you can get guaranteed to win up to $2,000 on a horse race. Here is the single biggest advantage of betting in Australia, and it's called minimum state bet laws. State regulations force corporate bookmakers to accept fixed odds racing bets up to a minimum payout, usually especially 2,000 on metro thoroughbred races. No matter how profitable you are, they legally cannot reject your bet or restrict you below that limit on race day. In Australia, your winnings are 100% tax-free, just like in the UK, Canada and Ireland. So what's the catch? Zero protection on sports. On AFL, NRL or tennis, there are no minimum bet laws. Beat their closing lines twice and soft sports books will chop your limits to pennies instantly. And then you've got the in-play ban. Federal law blocks online live betting. To bet in play, you literally have to call a phone operator or walk into a physical betting shop. While Australia has a legal exchange, don't buy into the hype. State race field fees have pushed Betfair's Australian commission rates up to 10%. Once you deduct the massive commission hit, exchange value vanishes on most markets and liquidity on local sports is a shadow of what it used to be. So now you're going to be asking, how do the top Aussie pros get money down? They don't rely on exchanges for main sports. Instead, they hit minimum bet laws hard on racing, use bowlers, Australian slang for third-party proxy accounts to exploit soft sports promos, and use retail cash at physical tab outlets or rail bookies to bypass digital tracking entirely. And I should pick up on the fact that Australian professional gamblers simply use the same system as they use in the UK. Betting overseas, they simply set up a structure so they can do it all legally. The betting environment changes fast. Offers come and go. New bookmakers launch and promotions change daily. That's where Bookies bonuses come in. They track every move, listing all 232 UK licensed betting sites in one place. The Boost Finder tool lets you filter over 500 daily enhanced odds across 30 plus bookmakers instantly. Plus, their promotions page updates daily with brand new and ongoing offers. Head to bookiesbonuses.com, link as a pinned comment. So let's talk about the United Kingdom. Now, a lot of people seem to think that the UK is the betting capital of the world. While that might have been the situation once, that is not the case anymore. With that said, it is situational and it really depends on how much you're hoping to extract. At the end of the day, if you're the average Joe who's trying to extract a couple of thousand a month from sports betting, the UK is a fantastic playground. But if you're an high-class pro who's trying to get 5 or 6 figures down, I'm afraid the market is a completely different beast. Let's look at the actual reality of betting in Great Britain. Let's take into consideration the positives first. First of all, it's 100% tax-free winnings, zero capital gains and zero tax on profits. Secondly, the UK has a massive runway. There are over 200 books in the UK and you can get that complete list on Bookies bonuses. The UK has the highest density of sports books in the world, meaning if you get limited by a couple, you've still got plenty of other options. Also, you've got the low betting exchange fees. You can decide to accept the basic tier on Betfair and pay 2% commission. You've also got smart kits, you've also got matchbook, so plenty of options available for you guys that like to trade it out. And then of course you've got the High Street escape hatch. Betting shops are all over the place, meaning that you can bypass online algorithms and affordability checks. You can walk into betting shops with cash or get yourself down to the race course and bet in cash without getting yourself noticed. So if we move on to the negatives, the high stake wall is a big problem. So why do high stake pros struggle in the UK? At the top of the list is that hyper aggressive profiling by the sports books. Beating the line on soft sports books will get your account limited after 3 or 4 bets. It's really that simple. You've got to play the long game. You've got to try to figure it out, try to get as much in without the sports books noticing. And while we can possibly cope with that, the biggest issue is now intrusive regulation. Affordability checks means banks and bookies will demand pay slips, bank statements and tax returns the second you try to move serious capital. And another issue is market decay. Exchange liquidity isn't what it used to be and racing margins are widening as market makers pull back. So let's talk about the syndicate solution. So how do UK legendary syndicates such as Star Lizard, Tony Bloom and Matthew Benham's Smart Hogs actually bank hundreds of millions? They register as data, research and consultancy companies. They build hyper accurate quantitative models and get money down using 2 main channels. One of them is the overseas Asian liquidity. They bypass restricted UK book bookies entirely, routing six-figure orders into massive, sharp Asian markets such as Pinnacle, Syndicates and IBC via international brokerages. And their second way of profiting is through local high net worth faces. To catch soft European odds, they use structured agreements with high net worth frontmen, giving them a risk-free profit split to trade through verified limit accounts. Bottom line is, if you want to make a couple of thousand a month, the UK is fine. But if you want to bet like a syndicate, you have to stop playing in the retail ponds and start operating like a global data firm. Let's move on to Ireland, and you should like this one. Now think of Ireland as the UK's wilder and sharper cousin. There is less regulatory handbrakes, but domestic bookies are absolutely terrified of real action. Now let me pause right here for a timestamp. This is July 2026 and things will change. Don't come back to me in a couple of years and say this doesn't work anymore. Right now, Ireland is a sweet spot. If you know how to operate here, you need to take advantage before the drawbridge pulls up. So as with the others, we're going to do the good first. So why do syndicates and serious grinders love being in Ireland? The island has global access. From an Irish IP, you are not geofenced like you are in the US or the UK. You get direct access to international betting brokers, offshore crypto sportsbooks, and Web3 prediction platforms like Polymarket. You also benefit from the low commission exchanges, meaning you get full access of Betfair, Matchbook and Smarkets at the lowest commission rates possible. As in the UK, 100% of winnings are tax-free, and it's the same situation with high street betting. Ireland's got loads of betting shops that you can go in anonymously and place your bets. In fact, plenty of my pro connections in Ireland are working the fob terminals successfully. And as far as the bad goes, let's start with terrified books. Local Irish bookmakers like Paddy Power or Boyle Sports are notorious cowards when it comes to sharp action. If you beat their lines on sports or secondary markets, they will chop your stakes to literally pennies on bet number 2 or 3. Also with Irish horse racing, there is a brutal markup. So let's wrap up the island segment on how the big boys actually play. The obvious one is the offshore buffer. They use Ireland's open digital access to route every volume into Asian markets using local corporate entities to hold data, analytics and execution capital. In Ireland, you have less restrictions and you can bet around the world. Bottom line, if you're in Ireland right now, use the local banking system, hit the betting shops with cash and route your every volume through international exchanges. The new Irish Gambling Regulatory Authority is rolling out tighter licensing, so make the most of this window while it lasts. And finally is Canada. Now Canada is a massive market that's trying to replicate the US, but it's split right down the middle between heavily guarded provincial monopolies and a single wide open playground. For professional bettors, Canada offers incredible perks like tax-free winnings and access to top-tier sportsbooks. That is, if you know where to sit on the map. Let's break down the real Canadian landscape and see how sharp action gets down here. First, let's go through the major structural advantages. Just like in the UK and Ireland, recreational profits are tax-free. The Canada Revenue Agency only taxes winnings if they can legally prove you operate as a full-time structured commercial business, which is a very high legal bar to cross. Now, if you're not in Ontario or Alberta, then you fit into the rest of Canada, which means you've got access to the grey market. Outside of Ontario, provinces like BC or Quebec run government lottery monopolies, but due to legal grey areas, residents in these provinces can cleanly access offshore sportsbooks, Asian betting brokers and crypto books without being forced into local monopoly odds. That means you can take advantage of aggressive offshore bonuses. In the grey market, offshore books compete heavily with soft 100 to 150% deposit matches up to $750. And now there is the Ontario exception because Ontario is fully regulated, meaning an open market with over 40 licensed sports books. On a side note, we are actively expanding our network across the Canadian market and looking to connect with Canadian-based bettors. If you're residing in Canada and want to get involved, reach out directly to us. So what is the catch of betting in Canada? If you rely solely on provincial government books like Play Now, you face terrible lines, low limits and no competition. Also is Ontario's ring-fenced exchange pool. If you trade exchanges inside Ontario, you are geo-fenced into playing strictly against other Ontario residents, which stifles market growth. And there is going to be a squeeze on the grey market. Canada used to be a pure grey market paradise, but as more provinces look to copy Ontario's regulated model, soft offshore access is slowly tightening up. So how do I-Stake pros and syndicates actually leverage Canada? Now, there is the Pinnacle anchor. Canada is one of a few places where Pinnacle operates officially. Syndicates use Canada to anchor massive eye-limit, winners welcome volume without fear of account bans. Let's not forget the offshore books facing Canada accept crypto and instant interact transfers, letting syndicates move large bankrolls without international banking delays. But as regulation spreads, we all know what's going to happen. My advice: take advantage while the door is open. Let me do a quick wrap. So if you are happy just making small money, a couple of thousand each month, the UK will work fine for you. You can get it down in the shops. Obviously, you can go and it on the track, and you've still got the advantage of the betting exchanges. Unfortunately, regulatory stuff's going to get worse, and I'm afraid, the longevity of the UK as a professional betting base is obviously limited. Australia is great for horse racing, probably nothing else though, even though you do have a couple of books down there that will still take a bet, like a Sportsbetting. With the US, it's relatively straightforward for wannabe professionals to get started because of those massive bonuses. Of course, if you can take advantage of them while they still last, then you're going to get it at least ahead, and that's going to give you the options for the future. You've got to build that betting bank, and that's the important part. The best two, in my opinion, are Ireland and Canada. That's why obviously we're looking to get involved in Canada. Ireland has all these advantages at the moment, like we mentioned in the video. So, it's a great place, but things are going to change there. Things will also change in Canada, so it's not going to last forever. So you want to take advantage of it right now. We could also go into many more places in the world where it's still relatively straightforward to take advantage of the betting situation. But you've just got to think it through for your own personal situation. Where there's will, there's a way, and I'm sure you can achieve your goal if you focus and do things right. I'm Tony from Bet Analyst, a full-time professional gambler. We'll see you in the next one soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.